We are live. Welcome to the final pre-launch event leading to the Startup Summit Nigeria. My name is Aneka Nusoro, and I am the moderator and perhaps the host for today. I'm indeed extremely excited to be with you. What an amazing time. So much going on over the space in terms of building credible startups, building credible business, generally just shaping and developing the right ecosystem that we need for the now and the future. And every single bit of this pre-launch event has been most amazing and simply off the chain. I'm so glad to be a part of it on this final pre-launch event. So wherever you are joining us to, we're just going to give a few minutes for you to, join us, whether you're joining us on YouTube page or you're joining us on our Facebook channel. Right now, I'm just gonna give a few minutes. Just send a message out to somebody. Send a tweet out, send a chat out, send a text message out to someone, and let them know that it's time for us to come together and just do something that will shape our future with regards to the ecosystem of entrepreneurship in Nigeria, West Africa, and I dare to say the world at large. Today, we're going to be looking at a most amazing topic, something that's very close to my heart professionally, and we're going to be looking at the constraints facing startups with regards to marketing. All right, so you've heard a lot about constraints facing startups with regards to policies, with regards to structuring, with regards to funding. We're looking at the issues vis-a-vis marketing. And I have a great panel that will be joining me. But before I do that, allow me to reintroduce, and for those of you that are joining us for the very first time, allow me to formally introduce to you the man that is behind all of this, the man that has been able to work together with people to bring a concept, an idea, a burden in his heart to a place like this where we can have deep intellectual, business structured conversations that will help us define this. So ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube, just help me run to the comment section and make most warmly welcome the startup specialist himself, my friend and my brother, Mr. Taiwo Adepoju. So Taiwo, let's have you in the video. Come on, everyone, just reach out whatever way that you can, and let's just celebrate Taiwo. Hey, TZBZ, how are you, brother? Great. Okay, so this is where you're muted, so you're gonna have to unmute yourself. I know it's your show, but unmute yourself. Let's go. Taiwo, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Aneka. I feel so honored to have you here. All right, and this is the essence of what networking is all about. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, so I think I would just have to.
So get to it. I was just going to say how really excited I am to be here, and thank you very much for extending the invitation to me. And so I'm just going to leave you for a few minutes to just, I'll pour your heart as you usually do, so that those people that are joining us for the first time and those that have been on the other pre-launch events can get, a fresh feel of exactly what we're doing here as we count down to the summit itself. So go ahead, Taiwo.
Awesome. Thank you, Aneka. Okay, so what is the Startup Summit? Our focus is tailored towards SMEs, small, medium enterprises, IDE, driven enterprises, and social enterprises. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is create the enabling environment, all right, an ecosystem of some sort that enables startups to be able to thrive and flourish. What we've seen is that the startup per capita, all right, in Nigeria and particularly around Africa is sparsely populated. And that's the reason why we also have a low GDP when it comes to the factors that drives every nation. So one of the things that we're also doing from this is to be able to create information, all right, education, exposure, and sharing of experiences. And that way we believe that all those within that category earlier mentioned, as startups or business owners or people currently even running businesses, can begin to take some of this information and it helps them. All right. Ultimately, going by there's a scripture that I usually read. It says, "The labor of fools wearies them because they do not know how." We believe that when people get exposed to the how, all right, they're able to stop, they'll free themselves from struggle and from pain. So, look, Adeka, today we're going to be dealing with how to tackle some of these constraints, but with a marketing perspective. I believe that marketing is like the blood of every organization. It's the heartbeat, and everybody in the organization should be involved in marketing. And today, there's also a new concept called entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial marketing. So it's slightly different from the kind of marketing you have in the big companies. It's also slightly different from the marketing you have in somewhat organized environment. What happens is that the entrepreneurial marketing concept is that the entrepreneur, other than just creating and developing, is also innovating along the line. So it's not just creating and marketing for a product, but it's also thinking on his feet and saying, how can I be different? And you're right. Look, I can't say more. I have a team here, and I'm going to be handing back the lectern, the virtual lectern, back to you, Mr. Eneka. But while that is going on, I'm sure the team will be rolling out the profiles first of the panelists, and then I'm sure you're able to take that on. At this
Aneka
note, I'd like
Usoro
to
is a
say
business
it's going to be a
administrator,
beautiful
a service
session,
delivery
and
strategist,
this
a
promises to
communications
be
professional,
something that
a
will
prolific
ultimately
speaker,
transform the lives.
writer, and certified trainer. Aneka Usoro is an unrepentant optimist who believes that there is always an opportunity to do the extra to attain excellence. Aneka's professional background spans across FMCG, banking and finance sector, healthcare financing sector, development sector, and revenue consultancy. An unrepentant optimist who believes that there is always a better way to get things done. He has over 18 years of corporate business ethics and experience, a firm believer in the future of the nation, Nigeria, and is committed to building champions who will take their place in putting our nation back on track. Anekan is the principal driver of the Pathway of Champions initiative, which focuses on the pursuit of excellence in every area of life and reaches out weekly online via his blog. He is a mentor to many and coach to a lot of high-performing individuals and organizations. Anekan currently heads the Business Development, Marketing and Strategy Directorate of a leading national HMO.
All right, then. So thank you so much, Taiwo. Thank you for the profile presentation, and thank you for the great insights that you shared as regards how the next few moments of this great broadcast and this great live show will be. So we're looking forward to every moment of it. So soon, like Taiwo said, I'm not just here alone with Taiwo. We have an amazing plethora of panelists, people who are seasoned in their fields, in their endeavors.
Is a transformational Nigerian entrepreneur and finance executive who has driven impact across multiple corporations and in various roles: corporate finance, asset management, investment banking, real estate, and now lifestyle development. He's a financial expert and thoroughbred investment banker with diverse experience in the full array of investment banking and wealth management services. Mr. Bola holds a Master of Engineering degree in Mechanical Engineering from the University of Sheffield and also holds a Master of Science degree in Finance and a Diploma of Finance from the prestigious Imperial College Business School, London. He is currently the co-founder of Purple Group and CEO of Purple, with a portfolio that includes Purple Maryland, formerly Maryland Mall, Purple Lekki, and other residential developments, as well as lifestyle brand and products, including Purple Shop and Purple TV.
Okay, so we do apologize for that error. While the profile was for Lady, the inscription under the
is a first-class accounting graduate, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, fellow of the Institute of Information Management of Africa, and an alumni of the London School of Business and Finance, with over 15 years' wealth of experience across banking, telecoms, and fintech. She was the head of budget in UBA, responsible for over 400 business offices, budget preparation and consolidation. commercial controller and financial controller at Airtel Nigeria, where she managed a portfolio of over $1 billion and supported cost initiatives that saved millions of dollars, and CFO of Cellulant Nigeria. She recently founded Africa Finance and Strategy Hub to support businesses, especially SMEs, have access to professional financial management skills and tools which assist them to understand, manage, and scale their businesses. She wants to help businesses build financial structures to maximize their cash and profits.
Awesome to have Toyi join us, and we're going to have a profile for coming up.
Eden A. Onwuka is an international John Maxwell certified relationship and mindset coach. She is the founder of A Woman and Half USA. She describes herself as a woman driven by the sole purpose of seeing more women become driven by purpose, and holds a degree in communication and a master's in business administration. While studying in Boston, she took leadership classes in corporate social responsibility and sustainability in Harvard. Her robust corporate experience spans 17 years in financial consulting, with a brief stint in community relations in the energy sector. She currently holds a small business consultant position with a leading Fortune 500 company in Texas.
All right, so that's it, our mighty roll call of our great panelists that will be coming into the studio shortly and joining us to get this conversation going. So without further ado, it's time to bring in to the first of our panelists in the studio, none other than the great, the most illustrious Toyi Arelepo. So please, Toyi, if you will, please join me in the studio at this time so that we can get this conversation going. So I need to have Toyi in the studio. Okay, so whilst we're waiting for that to happen, I just want to know that everybody joining us, please do send the comments. I need to be able to see your comments, and know that you're with us. Just send a comment and know. And so there we are. We have Toyi joining us. Toyi, it's good to see you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Good morning, and welcome everyone to this Startup Summit in Nigeria. You're all welcome. And I'm so glad to be here this morning. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. I'm glad to have you too. So Toyi, just sit pretty, sit right there. I'm in a hurry to populate the studio so that we can have this conversation going on as richly as it should. So allow me to one more time welcome the next guest that will be joining us. You already heard her profile, massive, Eden Onwuka. So Eden, please join us in the studio right now. And let's just get this party going. I'm so excited.
Hey everyone. Hey everyone.
Hey.
I bring you greetings from Texas, all the way from the United States. Good to be here.
Awesome. So these are truly early mornings for you. Wow.
Absolutely, but I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Such commitment, and I certainly celebrate you for that. All right, so just hold on again. I'm going to get our final panelist in, and at some point, we'll also have Taiwo joining us from time to time. I'm going to have the final panelist join us at this point in time. So he's joining us all the way from the United Kingdom, London, as it is. Please let's make most warmly welcome Laide Agbola. So Laide, if you're there, please do come in. All right,
hello.
Thanks
for having me.
All right, awesome. It's great to have everyone. And first of all, I must say that this is the final, pre-launch event to the startup conference, the startup summit, that's coming up on the 1st and the 2nd of December. And I promised myself, as I promised Taiwo, that this was going to be the best pre-launch event. And it's going to be the best because I'm having a conversation with each and every one of you. So, hey, that's my way of saying it's great to have you here. All right. So we're looking in this episode, we're looking at the issues, the constraints facing startups with specific regards to marketing. Taiwo had alluded to a bit of this when he was giving his introductory speech at the beginning. And I'm just going to, first of all, make this as free flow and as interactive as possible. And start with Tony. She came into the studio first. And so, Tony, what are your thoughts regarding this? Let's even take it from there. What are your thoughts regarding marketing being a constraint, right, to startup, and what the issues are surrounding that? So, Tony, talk to me.
All right, thank you so much, Aneko. And I would like to start from this perspective to differentiate between marketing and sales. Because, when we get the concepts right, then we can address the problems, and people can, SMEs and business owners, they are able to address the problems. Now, because most times what I've seen is people confuse marketing and sales. They are two different areas that requires different skill sets. Now, if I look at marketing, marketing is like casting your net. I want to make it as simple as possible. It's like casting your net into the sea, right? And is a broader, when you cast your net into the river or into the sea, the range, what you cover is more, and you are bringing in customers from outside into the business. So that is what sales is all about. It's from outside inside, right? You're trying to get in customers into the business, while sales has to do with managing those customers, is selling on a one-to-one. Marketing is one-to-many. You're trying to build a reputation for the business. You're trying to tell the brand story. You're trying to sell the business to a wide range of audience based on your objectives. While your sales, when it comes to sales, you are addressing individuals. You're selling what you have in stock. So your marketing has to go before, right? And you now manage the customers. So, given this background, it means that you need to get your marketing strategies right. Because when you bring in the wrong individuals, then it will be difficult to sell to them. And that is why one of the constraints facing startup is understanding the objective. You need to define your objectives of bringing people into your business. It is extremely important. So when you understand this concept, then you'll be able to put in place the right actions. You'll be able to define what is the story you are telling your customers, who are the customers you are trying to reach, what are you presenting to them, what is the image you want them to have of the business, right? So this foundation is extremely important for you to address the problems, because if you don't get these concepts right, then you'll be addressing the wrong problem from the onset. Because when you're supposed to concentrate on marketing problems, resolving marketing issues, you are busy concentrating on sales, because sales is one-to-one, right? And it's from inside outside. You are concerned about how do you satisfy your customers, how do you provide to them the required services they want, how do you sell to them what they really desire for your business. So, after going through this background, there are some problems that startups are facing. One of the major problems is, how much do I need to spend on marketing? And I want to clarify that, it's not so much about how much you have, because you need to start from somewhere, but how do you utilize the resources you have? Because as a startup, you have limited resources, and there are so many things you're trying to achieve at the same time. So you need to underline or define your objectives properly and look at how you are going to spend this money. It's not about the size of your budget. It is how you utilize it to achieve your purpose. So you need to define your objectives properly so that you can apportion this amount to the required campaigns, right, that will give you the desired results. So I would like to stop there now so that I can give others opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah, Tony, you just got me thinking, and thank you very much for laying that out, because it's important that people begin to have an understanding as to what is required before they say, okay, I'm going to start marketing. First of all, you have a term that is wrongly
Hi, Nika. Okay, so while we're waiting for Anika to come back, so like I mentioned, it is not the size of your budget that matters. It is essentially, what do you want to achieve? How do you utilize the resources you have? And one thing that you need to get clear is that your products, because you need to ensure that you understand the desire, what the customers want, you understand the products they desire, you understand their expectations. Because if you don't do that, right, you can spend so much on your marketing, and at the end of the day, you lose those customers. And it does, I mean, that investment is wasted. So let me just give an example. You want to start a food business. You are opening a new restaurant, for instance, and you've planned your campaign, you've planned your marketing, you've identified the customer segment that you want to address. You've done your customer persona, right? You understand their demographics. You understand whether are they male or female, their age range. You understand all that. You've done your homework, right? And you have set out the budget you're going to use to bring them in. So let's assume that you want to spend 1 million naira for your marketing. Everything is set. But just think about it. You spend 1 million naira to do your launch, your campaign. You're on social media. You've asked influencers to advertise for you. You've done all that. And on the day of the launch, right, so many people have ordered online. They are ready for you. And just imagine that the food you've prepared, right, maybe there's no salt in it. What is going to happen? After spending entire 1 million naira, and they still can't, the food is lousy. I mean, you forgot to add salt to it. You didn't do all the quality checks. What is going to happen? Your investment in that marketing campaign will all just be a waste. Okay. It will just be a waste. So you need to ensure that you have as you are bringing in your customers. Remember, I said marketing is all about bringing in customers. You are casting your net. So when they come in, what are they going to meet?
Bringing in.
So it is extremely important that you get customer service right. Awesome. You are providing what you promise the customers.
Toyin.
Yes. Toyin. Yes, please. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I love the flow. All right. Somehow we lost Aneka, but I'll just step in. So, I see Eden already there. And so let me just bring in Eden up and then
hey,
take this on. Eden, back to you, Tony. All right.
Yeah, so, Tony laid a very important
foundation. Nice to have your All right. So do you want to build on that, or you want?
Absolutely.
Can we have your own perspective? All right. If and you know, the floor is yours.
Thank you so very much. Honestly, I love.
Great.
Number one, I love the distinction or that Tony had made between sales and marketing. I love the foundation that she laid, which is very important because, again, if the premise is wrong, almost always the conclusion will be wrong. So thank you, Tony, for that brilliance. Now, in my perspective, I want to come. I want to approach this from the human perspective. When we are talking about SMEs, when we are talking about small business owners, we are talking about businesses that are managed by people. So we have the visionaries behind these businesses. We have business owners and business leaders. So what I find that is an often overlooked aspect of these constraints to startups is the unwillingness of business owners to try new things, the unwillingness to try new things or just accept new tactics when it comes to marketing. And I'm going to give you an example. I'm just going to let me call him Smith. So I wanted to do some work around my house in the pandemic. I wanted to do some upgrade. And Smith, of course, he had gotten his first level marketing right because I was not, one of his ideal clients, but someone had, like Tony said, someone has cast the net, and told me about him and shown me the work he does, such excellent work that Smith, quote unquote, does. So I reach out to Smith, super efficient. He shows up, takes the measurements. I'm revamping my entire closet, which is like a mini project. In terms of excellence, he delivers. In terms of timeliness, he delivers. Everything was on point. But now when he came to the payment aspect of it, I realized that Smith had a very limited option in the way he received payment from his clients. So even though in a sense, he had gotten several aspects of the business right, the positioning, the service, the articulation, even the power of referral, but because he did not have options, he didn't take credit cards, he didn't have all these several options that are actually a major selling point in a sense in the United States where I lived. I was forced to just in a sense pay him through the only option he had. Why am I bringing this example? As much as I loved his work, and his work speaks for himself, in terms of marketing, me being a sold client who was actually very pleased, I may not spread that net further because the unwillingness as a business owner to try a new thing, the unwillingness to innovate has kind of stifled his business from my point of view. And I gave him several options because I'm also a business consultant in a Fortune 500 company in the United States. So I provide financial the to business clients. So at this time, I was not just his client. I became his business advisor consultant. I'm saying to him, you have these options. The implication of not evolving, the implication of not innovating is that you are going to lose potential clients. And he said to me, yes, we are not there yet. That was his own honest reason. We are not there yet. So one of the major challenges facing startups is that sometimes the men, the women behind the brand, the business owners or leaders do not embrace innovation. I often say is innovate or liquidate. I'm going to take it one more time. You either innovate or liquidate. So some of them still have analog marketing tactics in a digital dispensation. So they are still marketing like the days of 25 years ago. They've not evolved their marketing styles. They've not embraced the digital marketing, which has come to stay. It's not going anywhere. Business owners were literally disrupted by the pandemic and people were forced online. But if you had followed the trend for the past 7 to 10 years, you would realize that digital marketing had come to stay. But several business owners, and I'm using the word business owners, not business leaders, several business owners were still stuck on the either just word of the mouth refer, and they would not even embrace quote unquote social media. They would not embrace the digital marketing. So an external force like a pandemic, something that is unprecedented, forces them to just jump out. So you see a lot of people struggle with the marketing because now they have to show up online, whether they feel like it or not, whether they consider themselves tech buffs. They have to show up online. They have to embrace the digital age that they were kind of overwhelmed with. So I'm approaching it again as I recap, from the aspect that a lot of us as business owners, we are very unwilling. It's not like we would not innovate, but we do not typically innovate without a disruption happening. So by the time we now jump into the boat as it is, we have lost certain clientele. So that's my belief. The unwillingness to try new things, the unwillingness to innovate. Again, I would say, as a business leader, as a business owner, if you do not innovate, you will liquidate. Definitely.
Awesome. I love that flow. Aneka, I'm adding it back to Aneka. However, we need to bring in light following the same momentum. Can you let us have your point of view around this?
Well, after two strong ladies have spoken, I'm not sure what else to add, but I think for me, I've always said to people, young people, aspiring entrepreneurs, that your sales, you have no business without your ability to sell or market and sell. And your that ability and that capacity to be able to do that starts from the very first day that you start your working career. And I say that starts from the very first day from your working career with all sense of responsibility, because a lot of us that are in business now relied at the commencement solely on the network that we had built. So your brand and your brand recognition that will uplift you from the very first position is actually that network of people, your professional contacts that you have made that believe in you, your friends, and especially your family. And you need to take that seriously, and that the perception in which they see you begins to form your branding. So branding is very essential. So as you step up and you move into the phase of actually now selling your own product, you have moved away. You have moved away from actually working for someone to actually building your own product, selling your own product, marketing it, and as well as building a brand out of it. Because fundamentally, that the brand equity that you build is what sustains you and keeps going. So you must ensure that the as simple as the names you pick, as simple as the trademarks you keep on your product names and your product items, the innovation that you bring into your product standards are somewhat phenomenal and somewhat out of the ordinary. I mean, a lot of people would say entrepreneurs in most successful entrepreneurs are geniuses. You need to actually invoke that genius in you to bring out that product that is totally different, or a product that, even if it is existing in the market, that is actually solving an additional problem or existing problems that are there but haven't been solved. We've seen that trend in all of the successful businesses that are now coming on stream, especially in the tech space. More recently, we've seen what has happened with Paystack in Nigeria, and I'm speaking from a Nigerian context. I mean, we operate, even though I'm not there right now, but we operate and function and built everything called Purple from ground up, sitting in Lagos. Now, what is most important in all of this is that for most entrepreneurs, when they start off, they typically do not have sufficient funding. Um, so you must rely on that base first of all. Then you must continue to build uh, um, build a product that actually then redefines the market, that reshapes the market. If you take an example, a real life example of some of the things that we are doing at Purple, um, we had in the past built commercial centers and also built residential properties. In our residential space, we had built and lent and earned the respect for sort of building terraces. We looked into the future, and as far back as 2, 3 years ago, and we said, in the direction of which the market is going, we need to be able to create a product that is yielding, that can serve for both the short, the long term in terms of how you live and stay. And we need to build it in an ecosystem that ensures that we have an enclave of all the other asset classes within the real estate space to be able to ensure that you can shop, you can walk, you can eat, you can live, and you can stay in the same place and do all of the activities. And with what has happened with NSAS and with what has happened with COVID, has made us realize that this is what is happening now. People want to feel more secure. People want to be in the same space. And I'm giving you a real life example of how to innovate. And we have actually within this COVID period sold more properties along those lines than we ever envisaged we will be able to do. Now we are taking that product and we are going to roll it out into more locations because we believe that based on research and feasibilities, which you must do as an entrepreneur, because it's not just about creating products. You must also back your products, your quality, your standards must be based on fundamentals, research. What do the people want? You cannot sell what the people don't want, and you cannot sell what the people cannot afford. So you must be able to deliver a product into a space at the right price, the right product, serving the right needs, and to the right people, because the audience is what gives you that revenue generation that you need to sustain your marketing and begin to build even more volumes. So you need to step back from everything that you are putting together. It's not just enough to innovate. Yes, you have to innovate, but you must ensure that the market must be receptive to that innovation. And there's something called testing the market. I mean, before we step out to do anything in any location, we actually carry out sufficient Q&A sessions. I mean, so we work with research houses that ensures that we go into areas, neighborhoods, and actually ask the questions that we want the product to solve, and make sure we get those answers and get those responded to, so that we can analyze them and actually use that to define prices, use that to define spaces, use that to define sizes, use that to define virtually every aspect of spatial planning that will require in order to achieve our goal. Now, one of the most important things is that you must form alliances, especially as new businesses. You must aspire. And in aspiring means that you must look at other businesses that makes you function, that you can ride on, to ensure that you can deliver those quality and standards and be able to mention those names proudly. They might seem expensive at the beginning, but what you might see is that those things will begin to lift you up in terms of branding and positioning. I will give you an example of of mistakes that we've made, and the mistakes that we've made is pretty much out of just lack of sufficient funding at the time when we needed it. Now, we've installed maybe 2 or 3 different car parking solutions and systems. even though we know the best product, because of funding, we decided to go in a different direction. But we knew our ultimate goal, but we needed the revenues to continue to generate. And we continued talking to the main player that would give us this product, which is InterSwitch. Now, we failed 3 times because we knew we were going to fail. So it was going to be a recurring decimal for us. However, we've now started building the new solution, which we'll use to replace this. But in building that, we then went a step further and said, now that we want to do it InterSwitch, we want to make this the first of its kind. We want it to then have freestanding locations for people to be able to interact with and actually pay themselves. They don't need to stand in any queue and continue to deal in cash, given all of these things that have. Yes, we'll provide that, but we'll also provide the alternative. And in providing the alternative, we want data. We want to be able to get the names. We want to be able to know more about our customers. We want to be able to get their phone numbers, their emails. We want to know the frequency of them coming, because all of that then helps you generate how to even what your trading hours, your peak hours, what you need to bring to the front of the sales process, how you need to market, what you should be selling. Is it the cinema that is driving the highest numbers? Is it the grocery hours that are driving the highest numbers? You need to know what you're actually selling and positioning to the market, because that's when you know how to optimize your sales level at every point in time. So data is important. Data is fundamental, especially with the way things are going these days. There's so many affordable data solutions. You don't have to use InterSwitch. There's smaller technology players within the Nigerian environment that can provide you tailor-made data-driven solutions that allows you to ensure that you can pinpoint who your customers is, what their customer frequency levels are, what their spending pattern and spending levels are, and you need to have all of those things, because that's when you then know what product is selling the most and what you need to push to the front. So I can see Aneka coming to the front, which sort of signals that perhaps I'm going on and on and on. But these are some small germane areas that I believe young entrepreneurs and startups need to definitely take into cognizance.
Absolutely, and I agree with you in every ramification, Lady. The things that you've said, the points you've laid out are absolutely germane and should be taken into cognizance. So thank you very much. But there's something you said which just brings me to the next line of conversation that we'll have with just about everybody. You talked about the power of the brand. I mean, just putting it together. You talked about the power of the brand. I have always defined branding, or your corporate brand or your personal brand, as a submission of your experiences of the past, the occurrences of now, and your future of a tomorrow. So in other words, when anybody comes in contact with you, when any client, any organization comes in contact with you, what they're doing is looking at the wealth of your experience, the mistakes that you made, even as you said so too, the constraints that you overcame, the strategies that you are deploying now, which forms what you promise you will deliver in the future, which is really what they're holding on to. So quickly, Laide, before I bring in Tony, I want you to tell just one more time to reiterate, right, before I go on to Tony, how important it is for startups vis-a-vis marketing to pay attention to their branding. How important. I need you to ring this bell out.
I think Aneka is sort of having some connection issues. I hope he's able to come back.
Okay,
Aneka,
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now, Aneka.
All right, great. So I was just saying that I just needed you as a town crier to just reiterate how important, based on what I said and what you said earlier, how important branding is to the startup, how they should give attention to it and make it a priority. Just 1 minute, I just want you to drill that home.
I think branding is everything. Branding is what allows you to sell yourself even without because there's a certain expectation of what you represent. So once people understand that, and they understand Purple is here to sell a 2-bedroom apartment, they know what to expect. They don't even need to see all of the data and the information, because they expect you to have done the level of due diligence, the level of analysis that you actually need to do to sell to them. So you're delivering to them what That is what your brand should represent. People should not question it at any point in time because it should obviously deliver the value proposition that everybody expects for you to. For us, Purple is an affordable lifestyle and real estate development brand. We want to be able to deliver products at affordable prices. In the retail space, we want our rentals not to be as comparable to the bigger centers. We want to be in a neighborhood structure. We don't want to be overly expensive. We just want to be affordable. In the residential and apart hotel space, we want to be affordable. We want it to be yielding. We want to provide products that are for investor base. We want people to appreciate them and to understand them. And that's what a brand should be known for. A brand should be respected for, and the brand should understand about themselves, because everybody, both their customers and your staff, and how you portray yourself represent how people will perceive you. And all of this show up on your bottom line, show up on your top line, and effectively on your bottom line.
Your bottom line. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Lydie. Thank you so much. I'm going to go to Toyin right now. And I want to talk a bit about, is Toyin with me right here? Okay, so there you are, Toyin. Toyin, let's talk a bit. Based on what everybody has said and from what we know is going on out there in the market space, I will say that one of the greatest constraints, and I want you to have your thoughts on this, one of the greatest constraints that startups have is sometimes not in the area of the product. Their product may be good, but in the area of the channel, which has to do with how the entity, your service or product gets from you to the end consumer. And I mean, channelization or the channeling was the biggest issue during the COVID era, because people didn't know how to get their products across. So people became digital, people started doing more things online and found out that that was a channel that could reach just about everyone. But then again, we realized that not just everybody is there. So what will be your take on channelization, how best to be able to, get whatever services, commodities, produce, or anything that they're doing out there to the customer or to the client, and how much attention should we be giving to channelization as, a part of any successful business? Toyin.
Okay, thank you so much for that great question. And I will approach it from this perspective. You have your products, you have your services. They are useless without you getting it across to your customers. This is extremely important. And I would like to, I want us to look at it from this perspective. You need to understand where your customers are. So when you understand where your customers are, then you can now look at how do you reach out to them. So you are going from point A to point B, but you need to understand your destination first. Now, when you know your destination, then you can now look at the channel. You can look at the vehicle. Let me put it that way. For instance, if your customer is let's say in Victoria Island, and you are based on the island, then you need to look at what are the available channels. Are you going to get there using a bus? Are you going to get there using Uber? Are you going to get there using a bike? Right? So you need, and all these channels, they have cost implication, because you can't, maybe you're selling an item, let's say 1,000 naira item, and you want to get it across to Victoria Island, and you are spending 2,000 naira as the delivery fees, and you are the one bearing that fees, you are making a loss already. So you need to understand the value you are delivering, who you are delivering the value to, where you are delivering the value to decide the channels that you need to use. And right now, logistics is now an emerging and a growing concern in Nigeria right now. So you need to look at the cost implication, look at the channel you're using, the cost of that channel, look at who is going to bear the cost, right? Because if you are not careful about choosing the right channel, then the total cost of your goods or services will be higher. Remember that you are not the only one in the market. You have competition everywhere. So look at the most effective channel that will give you the best return. Let me repeat that. You need to look at the most effective channel that will give you the most returns. It is extremely important. Know where your customers are, identify the different available options of getting across to them, evaluate the cost of reaching out to them, and the impact of that cost. If your customer is going to is going to incur that cost, right? You need to look at the cost implication. Because if you're selling an item for 1,000 and the customer is going to pay 2,000 delivery charges, then the value is almost gone. And because of this constraint, you can look at collaboration. For instance, if you have other outlets, right, maybe they are providing complementary services close to because you know where your customers are, then you can keep stock at those various locations, so that when you have orders from that location, you can deliver it at a lower cost. And at the end of the day, the cost of providing that service is affordable to the customer, and you are not making any loss.
Awesome. There's something, I'm just going to reiterate some of the things that you said that got my attention. One is that the destination determines the channel to be used. So everybody out there, remember where your market is, where your client is plays a critical role in determining the kind of channel that you use. And then ultimately, bottom line is that you've got to be thinking about the kind of channel that makes the most returns to you. And that becomes, and at the same time, Tony, at the same time also guarantees stakeholder satisfaction, because that's also essential. That's also key. So while you're getting returns on or via a particular channel, you also want to ensure that the customer experience or the client experience is such that there's stakeholder satisfaction. Thank you very much. I'm going to go further now, and I'm going to jump to Eden. Eden, I need you to meet me up right now. Eden, let's have a conversation on something I find extremely interesting. Now, if you notice, what I've been doing is actually walking us back to the basics. All right, so we're coming to a bit of sales now before we get back to marketing. Now, there's something that has always struck my interest. Many times I am talking to salespeople or salesmen, interacting with them, and I find out that people have a challenge distinguishing between the features of a product or a service or whatever commodity it is that they're putting out there, and the benefits. So I want you to share your thoughts on this and focusing on each, what it will deliver and how that in turn affects our marketing, which is on the global scene. So Eden, talk to me. For some reason, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent.
Awesome. So I said that was a great question, and I love the way you think and how you are kind of picking back to the beginning. Now, before I answer that question, let me put a first line. I think before we move to these congruence that happens in selling and the confusion around maybe the feature of the thing and the benefit of the thing, we need to go back to how we are selling. So yes. I think we need to move from selling to connecting. The average person is selling, and at that very basic surface level, they are trying to say, this is the product. Oh, look at my hands. This is the product. This is what it does. So selling focuses always on, look at me. Look at what I have. Look at the description. Look at can you see the hands? It's 5 hands. So selling typically focuses on the features, which is almost always descriptive. It's telling you about the product, the offering, the service. It's usually very technical. It tells you all the great stuff about what you want to shove down your client's face. And that is good, but not great, because you almost would not hit a home run while you are stuck on selling. We have to move to connection. And in connecting with clients, that's where we move from the features of a thing to the benefits. When you show your client that same product, in this case, my fingers, you are saying to your client, these fingers are blessed. If I touch you, you feel warm. So you are not just explaining or describing the product. You are not just telling us all the things the products can do. You are showing to the clients, what can the product do for you? So in sales, you must have the distinction between the feature of a thing, and the feature is great. The feature is how you make that thing very attractive to your clients. But no matter how attractive a product or service is, they want to hear, how does it apply to me? What can it do for me? What solution will it provide for me? So let's go back to Lide, brilliant Lide's example about Purple. He's residential. This one. He can explain to them, oh, blue paint, 2-bedroom flat, this, and they are not going to hear it. But when he says affordable housing for lower middle class people, and he's explaining that the dream is so that you can leave a legacy. Everyone can afford the house, the teachers can afford, and he goes to show the benefit, how it matters to the client. If it's a refrigerator, for instance, it's going to keep your beverage frozen for 2 whole days. That is where you actually get your clients. So the features are great. It tells you everything about a product or a service. It tells you about the proficiencies and the competencies, and that is very, very important. But you have to move a step further. And that's where you do what I call not just selling, but connecting, because you have to take that thing that you have and make it matter to the customer. It has to be a solution. Every customer has an unspoken question. What is in this for me? Every customer has an unspoken question. What is in this for me? And our products and our services must be able to answer, what is in this for me? Bringing it home to the client.
So, Eden, I think you just nailed it, because I was just saying to Aneka that you need to bring me on, because to be honest, you mentioned my name, so you invoked my spirit.
Yes, definitely. Because I love the way you articulated Purple. And
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, okay, if I'm thinking, even though I live in the United States, but if I'm thinking affordable housing, I know where to go. So
Exactly. And I tell people in simple terms, your revenue giver is your partner. Is an invisible shareholder that you must deliver value to. If you don't take that revenue giver as your partner, then your revenue line is comatose. So what we do, and we ensure that we continue to do, is that never cream everything out. You must leave something on the table for that last guy to make some extra income, because if it doesn't, it's not going to come back. If it doesn't, it's not going to speak well of you. If it doesn't, it's not going to recommend you. So that revenue giver is your partner, is your investing partner. You must first of all recognize. So if you're selling food, that guy buying that food from you is your revenue giver, is a partner, is already a shareholder. You want to make him a repeated customer. He must come back. And the only way you can come back is that food must be delicious. So if you're selling a product and it must be delicious, maybe it must be under right temperature. If it has to be beer, it must be very, very chilled. If it's the environment that the guy likes, it has to be in the best of ambience, under the best of air conditioning. So you need to understand who your customer is. Who is that partner? Where is that partner? Why is it coming back? Why will it come back? What does it want? The moment you can answer all of those things, your revenue becomes yours and his revenue becomes his. Because if you're selling a product to him as a component of, let's take a laptop for example. If I make the keyboards and somebody else makes the screen and they deliver to me to assemble, the moment you cannot deliver me the best screen or the best keypad at the right price, I can't achieve my revenue targets. But once you're able to do that, I can achieve my revenue target and I can pay you and you achieve your revenue target. So it's a distribution of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to we are all sharing the money.
Exactly. Let me just jump in here. Like, exactly. That one of the reasons why I asked that question was because I needed us to unpack certain things. So many things are packed up, and I need people to have an understand principles, then they can apply whatever methodology they want for themselves. But we live in an era where people take methodology without understanding principle and then just jump out into, start a business, jump out into the streets and wonder why it's not working. Now, why I talked about benefits and features is, if you will go by what Eden said, the benefits speaks to the value delivered. People pay for value. People don't pay for features.
That's right.
People pay for value, whether real or perceived. It doesn't matter. All right? Let's talk marketing. It doesn't matter. But real or perceived. It's great when you make that value real, because that's your brand speaking. But where people feel that because of social feature, I like this, people will pay for it. Now, back to what you said, Lide, which is something I raised earlier. It is important that entrepreneurs, startup, business owners, soon to become business leaders, and I noted that when you said that, Aiden, business owners, soon to become business leaders, take stakeholder satisfaction into consideration, which is what you've been alluding to, Lide. You have to ensure that, look, this is the way I always put it. Every product or service that exchange is transacted for should never be about that product or that service, but rather should be about the experience.
Very true.
I think you've
the
just
experience.
Aneke, you're perfectly right. I come from an investment banking background. I haven't done engineering as a student, and then I went into real estate. But one thing that is clear and that cuts across board is, if I'm trying to sell my real estate asset or I'm trying to sell a company I'm trying to sell a company from shareholder A to a new shareholder B, right? I can sell that company or I can sell that real estate asset because they are both assets, right? As a function of value that I have created and I can create. Or that, in fact, you can create. So what I'm saying is that I want to sell it to you, but I want you to take it forward and build a new legacy about it. But you must give me a share of that. But for me to be able to transfer that value to you, there must be an existing value that I must have created to be able to transfer to you. So it's a distribution of wealth, like I said earlier on, and it's how much we all put into this process that ensures that we are creating a product, that ensures that we are marketing ourselves in the right way, and then that ensures that we are selling. Because at the end of the day, if we all do all this exercise and we are not able to sell the product, then we end up in bankruptcy.
That's and you're spot on that. Great points.
Yeah,
as always. Great points. I wanted to throw some. When you were speaking, when you mentioned branding, when you introduced branding, and Tony and Lydie touched on it. I wanted to quickly touch on an often overlooked aspect of branding. I know that the branding communicates who we are, what we do, what we sell. But I think when branding is done right, branding should also communicate who you are not, what you do not do, and what you do not sell. So I see that if you don't get that perfectly well in your value proposition, your branding is a vehicle to that value proposition. You see people not chasing their ideal clients.
Exactly. You know, this is very interesting. I'm going to have Laide come in a few seconds. In fact, Laide is going to come in right now because there's something he has to say as regards this. But it's also interesting, Eden, to note that, look, far too often, people focus on, you try to give an image.
Yes.
Your image should be strong enough to determine for people to determine what you are not, which is what you said.
Absolutely.
Meaning, in other words, the values that guide you, which then determine how you conduct your business, which is then expressed in your service delivery, which is the promise you made by way of your value proposition, then it ensures that you stand in a field with wolves and you are spotted a mile away because you're different.
Absolutely. And it's
Which
just
then
very
means that
important because
you
we don't think
literally
about it. We don't think about it. But I think, and I made the distinction between business owners and business leaders. Business owners are more for the hustle, and the money is good. Without the money, like Lady said, we will be bankrupt. And I'm on this side serving business owners, and I know that's not something we want our business owners to do. But when we transition from business ownership to business leadership, that is where vision, value, ethical, those things that govern. We are not thinking about the immediate hustle. We are thinking about posterity and legacy. And we communicate that in our brand so that they know that they cannot come to Laide, for instance, in purple. Maybe because you have positioned yourself not just as a business owner, but as a business leader who has defined themselves by what they do and what they do not. So they cannot offer you a contract, for instance, to compromise on the value of your housing, or take $6 billion, reduce the cement, reduce the sand, and things like that. Branding should communicate who we are and also communicate who we are not, what we do not do.
who you're not.
Yeah. So that's
all right. Awesome. Lightning, go ahead.
I think she's just perfectly nailed it the way I was just thinking about it, right? Which is that the branding itself is not just a function of where we are today. It's also a function of where we want to be in the future. So it's maybe a few steps away from even where we are today. We must begin to communicate, because as businesses, we're going to make mistakes. Entrepreneurs are overly optimistic people. They will take decisions that are borderlines. And on that borderlines means that mistakes are bound to happen. You might have product offerings that will go the wrong way. You might have product offerings that has encompassed different other elements that you never thought was there, and something comes out of it, right? Something else happens, right? So you're going to make mistakes, but your brand positioning and brand must be able to tell people that, oh, you must be able to be given a second chance continuously. So you must that future step of where I want to be. It's like the United States when they said we will land a man on the moon.
Okay.
They didn't even know how they're going to do it at the point when they were saying it. But that brand and presence has shown that this is a visionary country. This country is just, and that's how you position yourself. We are going to build 1 million homes. We're going to build 2 million homes. And that is beginning to tell you the vision and how visionary the people in a particular place can be, or who they are.
Yes.
And you need to start permeating and projecting that and pushing that and continue to achieve that, because every time people play, they must be able to go back one year ago
and say,
they said they were going to do this. Oh, they've achieved 10% or 5%. Oh, what a great stride. Fantastic. That has really helped a lot of our fundraising.
Yeah.
We made a mistake in terms of we not mistake. We did not achieve exactly what we wanted to achieve, but we pounded the streets to raise 6.5 billion for under a corporate bond issue in January and February. But COVID came in and hit us smack in the head, right? And then we had to pull back, we strategize, and go back in. I was bitter at the point. Benefit of hindsight, we were able to find cheaper alternative solutions. Rates kept on crashing. We thought we failed at that point in time and we didn't achieve, but we kept on going. But in keeping going implies that all the hard work that we thought we lost 12, 15 months ago was beginning to play, because now the rates were lower. People were now looking for instruments, not even the secured position, but your brand and your position and your stamping and your authority and the movement and everything that you have said that you are going to do, and you are beginning to do it in spite of COVID, meant that the belief in what you are doing was getting stronger, even though the circumstances have not necessarily changed.
True.
About you.
True. Let me say this before I go to Tony. You know, there was something I said earlier about the brand being a combination of your experiences of the past, the occurrences of now, and the promise of the future. One of the things that we have started saying to young business owners, soon to be leaders, and I put emphasis on that, is that good enough to have a vision statement, good enough to have a mission, which is the methodology you have to attaining the vision, good enough to have a core value that will guide you. We want you now to begin to have legacy statements. In other words, tying it to what Lida said, throw yourselves on 20 years ahead. Write down what will have been said about you, so that, oh, this organization was the first to do this. They had a network across the West African hub. Write down everything as a statement of people, you know, making comments about what you've done in time, in past. Then jump back to present day and by all means connect the dots to that promise that you made must be fulfilled. And this is exactly what you've said, Lady. This is exactly what we're talking about here. Because it's so important. Before I come to Tony, let me just say this. It's so important for me as a business brand, as a business person. One of the things that makes my heart tick is that, look, every business, as many businesses as possible, must succeed. And why must they succeed? Not just so that you can have a car in your front porch, not just so that you can buy an extra house. It succeeds, or it must succeed, so that somebody somewhere who doesn't know your first, middle, or last name will not say, because Eden failed, why should I bother? Because like this company went down, then there's no need for me to try. So every time any business does not do well, you have hundreds and thousands of people that become totally discouraged, and you didn't even know them. They were only watching. They were only watching. Tony, in this time and age, with all, and now I want to focus on priority, right? I'm coming to you, Tony, and I want to talk about prioritization. People say, look, I don't have enough money to do this. You know, these guys, all these things they've said, I don't have the budget to do this. I can't get this done. And I'm saying it's a function of prioritization. Because no matter how limited the resources you have are, you've got to be able to prioritize it. And if what's priority or what determines priority is not what feels good, it's not what tastes nice or smells nice. In my own definition, is what you can't do without. So, Tony, I want us to write from that point. Talk to us. Tell us about what it is to, you know, have that marketing budget. Why it should be priority, and what are the things that every business, no matter how small or nascent it is, cannot do without. Tony.
Okay. Well, prioritizing is extremely important. Without marketing, remember where we started from. Without marketing, sales will definitely suffer. Without marketing, your sales will suffer. And your marketing is like is giving the direction. Your sales, they are like hunters, right? If you don't give the hunters where they need to go, then it will be difficult, right, to get the desired praise. Or no, let me not use the word pray. It will be difficult to get the type of customers that you want, because your marketing is like your foundation. It is also linked to your branding. What are you selling? What story are you selling about your business? what is the perception? Remember that your customers are paying for perception. And if I give an example, like Starbucks and like a McDonald's, if you go to a Starbucks, they sell their coffees for maybe $3. And Mr. Biggs, McDonald's, you can get like $1 cup of coffee. But why are people buying? Why are they paying more for a Starbucks? It's because of the experience. You know, when you go to a Starbucks coffee shop, you are not in a hurry. Nobody is chasing you out. Sometimes you have Wi-Fi. The customer experience, the way the waiters address you, you can sit and spend hours there. You are paying for that perception, that perceived value. Now, what helps with the perception? It is the branding, which is part of your marketing, which is selling, is giving an opinion, what customers should think about your brand. So it is extremely important. And like I mentioned earlier, it is not the amount of the budget, but it is what you spend it, how you spend it. That is what is extremely important. It is what you spend the money on that is extremely important. And without your marketing, your sales will not work properly. It will suffer. So, if I put it that way, because there's no pointer to give direction on what you have to buy, what you are selling, what customers are coming to your business to get, what products are they going to get, what services are they going to get, what benefits. It is marketing that is like a forerunner, right? Going ahead of sales, that, oh, this is what you are going to get, this is where we are going to, because sales is more short term, looking at the revenue you are going to have in this week, this month, right, this quarter. But your sales is more like looking ahead, that vision, everything is tied to your sales. So that work has to be done first, so that your sales will be seamless. It will be easy for them, right? So you need, no matter how small your budget is, you need to allocate something. And look at the 80-20 rule, right? In terms of advertising, what will give you the highest impact? Look at the channels of communication. If you know where your customers are, is it while you have digital presence, you also need to ensure that, right, the offline strategy is not neglected. So depending on where your customers are and where are you getting more sales, that is why you need to to look at your data. Like Laide mentioned earlier, data is extremely important, because it is your data that will tell you which of your customers, which segment is giving you the highest income, so that you can concentrate on them. And if I use telecoms as an example, you have your high net worth customers, the HIV, high net worth HNI customers.
The HNIs.
Exactly, you have that. You also have the prepaid customers. And, there are some customers that on their birthdays, you have to go to them, because they are giving you, maybe some of them are spending 1 million, 2 million, right, on your network. So you need to do that segmentation. If you don't have marketing, there's no way you can do that segmentation. And once you start doing it as a small business, because your expectation is to grow, then you can increase it, you can expand it, but you need to start, no matter how small, so that you segment your customers and you give them the value, right? As a function of the value you're also getting from them. You have to personalize the relationship.
Aneka, I think Tony spoke very well. You need to, product segmentation is important, because that's what drives your volumes. A lot of people start with one product selling at $1 million, right? But because they're selling and they feel that, oh, we are really doing fine, we're doing well. But if you look at it, that 1 million, they probably sold it to only 10 people, and have only generated a 10 million revenue in the year. So I spoke with a very good domestic furniture manufacturer in Nigeria, and I said to the person, I love your product. I would like to invest in this product. However, the product pricing is good and you're selling, you're profitable, you're doing well, right? However, if I step in, I think it's just going to go to a different level because this is what I would like you to do differently. One, I would like you to create me 2 different products in this particular price range because what you have created is an aspirational product in the first place. And there's several other layers of people that are looking at it and say, oh, I love it, but I can't afford it. You need to feed them what you need to feed a different product to them so that they continue to aspire the old one, but continue to aspire to the bigger element of the product that they are still looking for because they are your repeat customers. They are those that that's the multitude of people that will talk about your product, that will display your product and worship it, right? The other guys that can afford your product can afford several other products of that nature and will just buy it and toss it because it's just another piece of toy for them. So you need to be able to appeal to a diverse strata of customer base, right? And that's what gives you the volume on your top line, right? You need to also understand what they want and what is driving them, right? I've then said to the same person, I said, once you achieve that, you have conquered the market. And once you conquer the market, you must create a new market. You don't stop at that. Which means that you take the same model and instead of using the Nigerian product that you use to manufacture this, go to South Africa and let's use whatever traditional product that they use in South Africa.
It's prevalent there.
And let's run it. Let's go to Accra in Ghana and then let's replicate it. Let's go to, and then you then see a total dominance. And you know, my brother, Aneka, one thing that we don't preach very much in Nigeria is international dominance. By virtue of our product positioning and marketing.
Yes.
I haven't achieved it. It's still a conquest for me, it's an aspiration for me. But we must begin to teach it and lecture it. In South Africa, that is why you have a lot of South African businesses in Nigeria. What we do well in as Nigerians is to go into Ghana, into South Africa, and set up small shops and small businesses because we're very good entrepreneurs. But we have not devoted enough time to educating people to know that you can actually go and build your thriving businesses all over again in a new city and have similar impact. You don't have to be a GTB, a UBA. You don't have to create monsters, but you can create new markets by your marketing strategy, by your product positioning, by your branding development.
Absolutely insightful. Absolutely insightful. Wow. Okay, so now I'm thinking, right? You have this startup business that is, is into, whatever sector, agriculture, infotech, furniture, whatever it is. They have some budgets, right? They've been able to raise some capital. They're about to go out there. But there's something, again, I am touching on some things that we've already spoken about, but I'd like us to throw more light on. But they think they can go through this journey alone. Now, it's hard enough for you to start up a business, get your product from you to your end consumer, talk less of you doing it alone. And people always, I can see everybody moving in their seats right now. So we're going to spend a bit of time on that one. People always make the mistake of thinking that, you know what, if I'm going to go into any type of collaboration or any type of partnership, wait for this, it has to be in an area that I don't have strength in. And I'm joining with each and every one of us here to say, no, that's not it. It has to be in an area where the other person delivers value in a more cost-effective manner for you. Meaning that you may be good at it, but if you can get it done better and cheaper for me, I'll let you handle it. Eden, take it from there.
So I mean, you could see all of us grinning from ear to ear, like they were smiling now, because this is so
You
spot
know,
on.
if I start, I probably that's a totally different topic entirely.
I
That's
know.
know, but
No,
I just wanted us to throw
like
some
it's
light
not
on it.
just a topic; it's an entire masterclass.
it's the masterclass.
Yes.
Like, but let's like Sound of Music. So let's go to the very beginning.
Mm.
The very, very beginning, and this is where human capital comes in. Of course, I'm a trained small business consultant, but I'm also a relationship and mindset coach. So this is my baby. If the visionary is not visionary,
Mm.
if the mindset is not right, you would see people that are averse to alliances and collaboration.
Mm.
You cannot think global, you cannot think expansion. Like Lide said, you cannot think international market dominance without fixing it here. So the internal conversation that Lide is coming to take something that I am building for me and my children and my family and my dog and my yacht has to stop. So if from the foundation there is a disconnect with the vision, and because there is no vision, so we don't have a strategy to execute it, then you will be fighting the man you should be learning from. You'll be competing with the person you should be collaborating from. So I think when I stress business ownership is a hustle mentality. Business ownership is a survivalist mentality. Business leadership is about what can we do to ensure that there is a spread? What can we do to ensure that impact is amplified? It's a mindset thing. I think as business owners, especially in larger parts of the sub-Saharan African climate or context, we got to fix it here first. We have to fix it here. Alliances amplify your revenue and your bottom line. And you are right. When I come here and I see all the business owners doing great things, I know so many people that are doing better in Nigeria, but nobody knows their brand here. And that's because rather than someone partnering with someone in Nigeria, for instance, case in point, they will start their own business here. So rather than me being an extension of Purple with what Lide has done, let's just say I want to foray into real estate. Rather than saying, Lide, I don't have to have a vision. You already have a damn good vision. I can be an extension of Purple, but I'm like, no, I want my own to be Eden Incorporated. I want to do my own. Then let's just say if Lide is not with the right mindset, he'll be like, no. They will now go and know Eden. No. So we have to start thinking collaboration, not competition. It all begins again with the mindset. The visionary has to be truly visionary. And that starts with going back to the drawing board and telling yourself, why am I starting a business? And how do I want this business to be? Do I want to build an institution that outlives me, that someday someone else can take over? Or do I want to play small and just protect and, incubate everything? Nobody touches my, I become Lord Master of all. I just think when it comes to the human capital, there should be a lot of training again. That's where training, even though that's not the conversation today. But if you don't invest, and Frederick Casey Price said, if you don't train them, don't blame them. So again, the visionary has to go back to the drawing board. I would love to hear Laide's thoughts on that kind of alignment. I would love to hear Laide's thoughts on that alignment.
I mean, well, Eden, I've been in several partnerships, but my existing partnership is one. I have a partner from the southeast, Obina Ononkwo, and a lot of people said, "Oh, you're a Yoruba guy. Why will you partner with an Igbo guy?" Oh, I don't understand it because I've not been paid in it, right? But some other people may have been pained in that sort of relationship, which is why I then talk about alignment.
Yes.
It's not a function of rule, where, tribe, what, nothing. It's about mindset. It's in the brain. You must intellectually connect. You must know that the best of me does not exist in the other person in its best form. We completely are left and right. It's totally different individuals, different mindset, different analysis. But when it comes together, it forms something monstrous. Now, when we look at it and we then look at some of our other relationships, we then say, oh, we made a mistake. That definitely we thought there was an alignment. There was actually no alignment. So when as an entrepreneur and you're foreign into business, I always say to people, it's tough to find an alignment that is recent
Mm.
when you're starting off. When you become a big brand, it's easier to find alignments that match your brand and have the same ethos and the same level of integrity, the destination you are going to, and share that vision, and you can move forward with that. But when you are growing, you have to be careful who you align with. You have to be choosy who you align with. You have to be sure you want an alignment. You have to test your alignment. I mean, Purple is not the first business I founded. I, I founded a separate company of which my existing partner in Purple sits with me, which is why I said it's a long story.
Sorry, Lady,
But
before you
should,
go on, sorry, Lady, before you go on, let me just ask a question that will help, you just push further on this. Is alignment, right? Is alignment to be taken along the lines of ethics, in other words, your values, or in the lines of competence, or a mix of both? So I have a guy who can deliver a great job, but we don't have the same core values, or have someone who is not so great, but we have the same core values and can help achieve. So, with that, go ahead.
so is a cut through across various aspects of what you have just described: core competence, integrity, destination, how you're, where is a cross section of everything. So what you need to do is that you will find out that you can never both be on the same page on everything, but you must know when the other person's strength is better than yours, and you must be able to give way for that strength to take the lead in a particular scenario, right? Because that is the reason why you have formed a union in the first place. Is a marriage, and if you don't work at your marriage, you would always want to dissolve it, right? But there will always be challenges. What we pray for and we hope for, and that's why we say pick the right partner, is because we want to ensure that we are always able to work that relationship out, not necessarily dissolve it at every point in time when you find a challenge. Because everybody comes from different backgrounds. Everybody's expectation of success and achievement is different. Everybody's expectation of financial power is different. Everybody's expectation of use of money and what money represents and what it should do is different, right? So you need to be able to align and know which aspect of strength do you want to take the lead in the brand that you then jointly create. And that will
Right.
allow you to know who steps back for what at any point in time on specific issues. Because
All
it's
right.
only then what is important is that union, not necessarily individual individual what do you call it, what individuals want to achieve for them personal selves or individual personal goals, right? Personal goals, right? So it's not what personal goals you want to achieve, but what the goals of the union should be and what it represents.
All right. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. We're about to park this ship right now. Trust me, I'm taking this offline. I will probably have this conversation for the rest of the day. This is my personal private management retreat with you guys, man. All right. So this is what we're going to do to close this. All right. We're going to have our final words. So I'm just going to go from Tony, and funny enough, the same way we came in, Tony, Eden, and then Olaide. So I'm going to start with you, Tony. Your final words, just give that punchline, as I will always say. That's hit it in the way that people will remember and run with it. Tony, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been amazing sharing with everyone on this platform. And to just summarize, what I will say is this: your marketing is extremely important. Without marketing, your sales will suffer, right? And one more point is that it is not how much budget you have, but how well you use it. And in talking about alliance, I just want to mention that remember synergy, 1+1 is equal to 3 and not 2, because you're leveraging on other people's strength. So you need to ensure that you are providing value to your customers, because they are going to pay based on the perception. It's not the feature you're selling, but the value, but the pain points that that product or service is going to help the customers to achieve. And lastly, just to mention about the last point that Laide talked about in ensuring alliance with your partners, I would like to just quote Warren Buffett. He says that in looking for people to hire, people to collaborate with, people to build alliance with, I'm extending it. He said hire, but I've added alliance and collaboration. You look for 3 qualities. You look for integrity, you look for intelligence and energy. And if they don't have the first, that is integrity, right? The other 2 will kill you. So in building your alliances, in collaborating with people to grow, you need to ensure that you do it the right way. And integrity is fundamental. Thank you so much. I mean, it's been so amazing being on this platform. Thank you.
Myself. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Tony. Tony, thank you for those words. Those words indeed should be written on marble. All right, and they are so salient to every business owner, soon to be leader. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have Eden join me in the studio. Let Eden join me in the studio so that she can have a final words. Eden, where are you?
Hey guys, this has been amazing. I gotta take off my glasses at this point. I can see clearly. Honestly, thank you so very much. I'm excited, and I hope you all can spread the word and join us December 1st and 2nd. Someone's business or startup might depend on it. I want to thank Taiwo. I want to thank AU. You're an amazing moderator. And this is what I have to say in closing. When it comes to marketing, remember that the greatest strength you have as a business or business leader or owner is your evolving. So, punchline again, if you don't innovate, you will liquidate. When it comes to branding, remember your branding is your message that moves you from a generalist position to a specialist position. So your brand should show 2 things. It should define who you are not, but it also should define who you are. Then as I conclude, when it comes to collaboration, and I love the way Laide talked about alignment, because that's a deeper level. And I love the quote from Tony. But this is what I'm learning both in my personal life and in businesses, and I want to share it with you today. When it comes to alliances or collaboration, always remember that unity is not uniformity. Unity is not uniformity, and we make that mistake. You don't have to be the same in a sense. You don't have to have the same strengths. Sometimes the best synergies in business are created by 2 different people who share the vision and whose values align on a deeper level. They don't have to talk like you. They don't have to smell like you. They don't have to come from the same geographical region as you are. Unity is not uniformity, okay? And that's the strength of an orchestra. Different parts contribute to it, and you build a formidable, value-based global business. I have had such an exciting time, and I'm looking forward to December 1st and December 2nd, and we are going to have a good time.
We're all looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Eden. Thank you so much, Eden. I'm going to run on now to Lydie. Lydie, your final words. I'm going to have Lydie come and join me in the studio, and then we'll take his final words. Go ahead.
It's always difficult going after the ladies. They just smack it down, and then you have to play catch up. But to be honest, it's been a fantastic show. When I agreed to do this, I didn't expect this level of this discussion, and I've experienced it. I like it, and entrepreneurship is something I've dealt with for quite a good, at least a decade of my life now, or more. It's always good to be able to transfer that knowledge, because you cannot just keep it within you. And from this show, when we talk about marketing, I think my take home from this, and the message I would like for everyone to take home, is for them to know that your product must be based on data. It must be data driven. When your product is data driven, then you'll be comfortable with your marketing spend. When you spend on marketing, you should not necessarily be worried about what you spend. You should be concerned about how much revenue you want to drive. Because once you know that, then you'll be comfortable in your own skin with your own product and with your own marketing spend. And the way and manner you drive your marketing must ensure that you live it, you wear it, you speak it, you act it. Because it is then that you begin to create a brand, because people can see where you're going and you're 2 steps away from your competition. Thank you.
Back into the studio. All right, then. Thank you so much, Lydie. Thank you so much. Great words. I'm just going to share something briefly before I ask that everybody else will come back into the studio. 2 things from my desk that I'd like you to remember. 2 things. One will have to do with sales, and then the second will have to do with marketing. The first that has to do with sales is this. If you have convinced yourself that you do not have what it takes to sell, then it means that you have what it takes to convince anyone to buy from you. Always remember that. And number 2, you have to take everything that has to do with your branding, your marketing, and your sales extremely seriously, because you're not just competing against those that are offering products and services similar to what you offer. You're competing against everything under the sun that people pay money for. Remember that. Having said that, I'm going to ask that everybody else comes back into the studio right now. I'm going to also ask that Taiwo, the convener of the Startup Summit, which is in a few days from now, the 1st and 2nd of December. Make sure you don't miss it. Make sure that you're a part of it. Everything is being suspended for those 2 days. I can tell you that. I am literally closing shop for those 2 days. Hey, Taiwo, great to have you here with us one more time. Shoot. Yeah, you've got to unmute yourself, Taiwo, and then let's go. I am so excited. We're going to do a part 2 of this once we log up. Part 2. All right, Taiwo.
I say thank you, Aneka. And then to think that this is like one of the best of the sessions we've had. Lydie, I thank you. Eden, I thank you. Toya, I thank you. The reviews are are phenomenal. I'm just wondering, whoa. This is an iteration. Like I think I was having a discussion with Eden yesterday, and I said, look, people told us that the Startup Summit is a first of its, so it's a maiden edition. And so some people declined speaking because they usually don't speak at first events. But we took a lesson from that. And that's part of the lessons for entrepreneurs. We took a lesson from that. And we started to have pre-summits. And this is by far, an improvement and improvement in the line of the summits or pre-summits that we had. So you can imagine that we're prepared for the first and the second, and all of this, thanks to God, is going to be phenomenal. I just want to say thank you all. Awesome. We can't even, how do we even pay for the experience, the exposure, the expertise, all right, and education deployed? It's we cannot, it's invaluable. So I'd like to say thank you, and I'm sure those that are going to be watching the replay even after now, they're going to be taking notes. They're going to be surely taking notes. So the Nigerian Startup Summit, all right, comes up on the 1st and the 2nd of December. Aneka, it's over to you. You've done a fantastic job, and I must say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. So looking forward to seeing, once again, thank you, Olaide. Thank you for reaching us all the way from London, United Kingdom. Thank you to Tony. Thank you to Eden. You can go back to bed now. Eden reached us all the way from Houston, in the US. So you can go back to bed right now. That's if you can. And simply just to say to everybody out there, thank you for sharing your time, your space, and your heart with us. Looking forward to seeing you at the Startup Summit, the 1st and the 2nd of December. God bless you all. Cheers. We love you and goodbye.